Hey everyone, hello Sleep Talkers, and here we are finally, whoopsie daisy. Here we are finally with a GSC Premier League commentary. I'm your host, Cherry Bong, and we're going to be looking at GSC Never Used. I made the replays thread here. I will put a link in it in the description in case you are interested at seeing any of these games, including ones that I've played in. And I say we just jump right into it. Now, currently, we're about to finish week 2. That is the third game. But right now, what's being covered is a week 1 part 2 game. So it would be the second game that these two players are playing, technically speaking. It's sort of a formality. And we have Reecehughes from the Magnificent Muks versus Ranshin from the Vaporized Vaporeons. Now, let's just get right into it, and we lead off with a Standler versus a Ninetales. Interesting leads because Ninetales obviously can threaten many Pokemon by using Hypnosis. Very solid lead, resists most of Rapidash's attacks. Isn't quite as fast as Rapidash, but is definitely bulkier. Stantler also has Hypnosis, but is slower than Ninetales. So the two switch into the respective checks of the opposing leads, and then Xatu comes in on Reese's end because he turns out with a less than favorable matchup, Octillery versus Tangela. Although that really depends on what moves Tangela is running. Most of the time you want to see the Pokemon in you using their stab moves because they're not particularly strong. So Octillery really good. Unfortunately for Ranshin, the Stun Spore, I believe, missed. No, it was his Sleep Powder, missed the Xatu. Xatu is clearly the Sleep Talk user. Hidden Power Electric on both types of on both Xatus. Both are resting up. They don't want to miss out on the chance to outlive the other one, perhaps get a Spadef drop. Very, very crucial as to in this matchup because the one that manages to take out the opposing Xatu will definitely get a lead. Octillery comes in, tanks 2 hits, and manages to land a crucial critical hit here, and is in fact just at the right percentage to withstand 3 hits from Xatu and rest up once again. Now this Octillery is very threatening. It is the second Sleep Talker, probably packing an Ice Beam here, but its Stab Surf is definitely nothing to scoff at either, and this Octillery is just steamrolling Ranshin's team. Tangela is not particularly good in NU. It's not an amazing check for Octillery since many of them like to run Ice Beam. Xatu comes back in comes the Ninetales. It's it's perhaps the bulkiest fire type here, so it kind of naturally invites in Octillery, and as we see here, a bunch of exchanges, but Reese manages to make some slight prediction, though unfortunately for him, he tries to call out the Sleep Powder from Tangela and fails, and is forced to switch his Octillery into the opposing Octillery. And now this looks like it may be an interesting exchange. So it turns out that the Octillery has Hidden Power Electric, or both of them do in fact. We are yet to see whether or not this Octillery also, from Ranshin's end, has Sleep Talk. Reese brings in the Standler. Standler using a Light Screen. Interestingly enough, this should help Xatu fend off the opposing fire types here and water checks. They seem to be well, the elemental attackers seem to be quite solid checks at times against Xatu. So moving on here, I'm sorry that my menu keeps popping up, but Xatu, fortunately for Reece, manages to land a critical hit on the Ninetales, but Ninetales is just faster than Xatu. In spite of this, Reece gets quite lucky, and he wins out on the sleep roll because the Ninetales does not click rest once again. With Sleep Talk, it's a 1 in 3 chance. Wheezing comes in, and in comes Graveler. Graveler's a very interesting choice. It is the normal resistor of the team and probably runs Explosion. Occasionally, Rapid Spin is a solid check for Wheezing. Wheezing may have a little bit of trouble coming in, except against perhaps Octillery, perhaps Tangela. Once again comes the Standler with the perfect support move against a Pokemon such as Octillery. It's using Curse Light Screen. Wow, full of surprises here, and an Earthquake. I bet Ranshin was not counting on that. And here comes Primeape. Primeape speed ties with Xatu, so this can prove vital. He sets up his substitute, predicting the switch out, and is meditating. This means it can potentially crit KO anything at this point that doesn't resist it. He goes for a second shot with the cross chop here. 2 cross chops have been used. Fortunately for Reece, Xatu goes again for the rest on a roll because the Psychic 2-hit KOs Primeape here. And it's a matter of winning a speed tie. Of course, Reece does not want to expend his opportunity. In fact, he is rewarded kindly for it. Now comes Tangela. Tangela actually manages to crit the sub, and Generation 2 Giga Drain always misses on substitute, so not only would he be able to block off all of the status moves, but even the special attacks. And Hidden Power Rock Graveler. That's quite interesting. That should suggest that it is a Rapid Spin Graveler, because Rock Slide and Rapid Spin are not compatible. Pineco just can't seem to wake up, but it resists Tangela's moves, so Reece is just expending. He's just trying to consume all of those turns of sleep, maybe land some spikes. And Octillery seems threatening as ever now. Another crit. This Octillery just does not give any damn whatsoever. And another free sleep turn for the Pineco here. Will it be able to wake up, and will Reece manage to maintain control of spikes? I'm not sure. Oh, quite a risky play, but it pays off for Reece as the Octillery is just faster than the Golem, or a Graveler, pardon me, and manages to rest up too. Now we see an interesting exchange between the 2 special attackers. This kind of reminds me of one of my videos already. In comes the opposing Octillery with a hidden power hit. We haven't yet seen a rest or a sleep talk from Ranshin's Octillery. Will this be the turn? Surely enough, Ranshin manages to rest up, as it's perhaps one of the best checks to Reece's Octillery. He's trying to stall it out and gain a favorable advantage. It would put him in a much better situation, although it's still quite dicey for Ranshin, as it appears as though he doesn't have a solid answer to Primeape. Wheezing comes in. Will he explode? Will he use Thunder? Will he use something else? Goes for a Sludge Bomb, manages to poison the Graveler. This can prove crucial, although Standler is dead, so there isn't much to do besides dodge some Earthquakes and call out any rock slides, or in this case, hidden power rock. Reece, in fact, manages to predict correctly. He goes to the Primeape, and now he's in a very good position and can start spamming the chop. What will he do? He doesn't substitute. And Pineco takes a big chunk from Octillery, a meaty chunk. He probably wants to keep the Pineco alive just to not have anything that's a liability against Tangela's speed. Sleep Powder, I meant. Wheezing comes in once more. Will he use Pain Split? He does. So Sludge Bomb, Thunder, Pain Split, and I'm guessing the last move is an Explosion. This time Ranshin does make the right call, predicts the Xatu, but it doesn't matter because Reece is ready with his Primeape, who just seems to not give a damn about what's in front of it. This time round, Tangela does not make the good call, as it's slower. Now the Primeape needs to land a CC, and this should be game. Perhaps. Here, we don't know. He has 3 cross chops left. He would have to crit the next one and not miss. Oh, he missed. Okay, that's a bit dicey. And he's taking quite a chunk from Octillery here. Octillery may survive as long as there's no critical hit, but he is definitely not able to survive the next one unless he's taking his chances. At this point, there's not much else you can do. And wow, in comes the Dunsparce with Curse and Glare, one of the most threatening sweepers. Can possibly turn the whole situation around, but the Pineco finally manages to wake up and set up a Reflect in the nick of time, saving Reece. Explodes on the Dunsparce. There is no no countermeasure, no way to sweep on the Dunsparce. The only thing that Reece can do is boom. Ranshin comes in. Ranshin brings in his Graveler, and now things are getting even dicier for Reece. Octillery uses Surf. Octillery definitely has the firepower to take out this Dunsparce, but he may get paralyzed. Oh, and the Glare misses. And Reece wins the game, meaning 1 point for the Magnificent Muks versus the Vaporized Vaporeons. This was quite a dicey match, but definitely interesting. You get to see a lot of the old and new threats from Never Used. Anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed, and please make sure to check out some of the other videos if you're interested, and stay in tune for some more GSC PL action.